Probably a little bit before 6 in the morning. Love the sea fa, is baby blue, sky blue technically. Tung fa is sky, and sea fa is color sky. I got an update from the people that are making the new skin treatment machine that I ordered. That's the one that TJ has affiliated himself with. I'm really intrigued by that because he has always avoided, vehemently avoided all offers from other manufacturers to affiliate themselves with his channel. And then this one he wholeheartedly embraced. So I've got rather high expectations that it's a good device. So they're not expensive, so I'll just give it a try and I'll do a full review of it when it comes in. Back's hurting quite a bit, but that's just waking up, I think. Some mornings I wake up, I feel okay. Most mornings I wake up, I'm in quite a bit of pain. It just takes me a minute for my body to sort itself out. I put a little capsaicin cream on my back, and that usually calms it all down within 5-10 minutes. So I have an idea. I want to introduce a concept on the channel I actually haven't talked about before, which I'm surprised. What is a mutual relationship versus, pay for play? So just strict pay for play, like the lady isn't interested in you, it's her job, what's the difference? How do you tell the difference? I think I'd like to try to tackle that. I thought of that this morning kind of randomly as I was making my coffee, and I was like, well, how come I haven't talked about that before? But then I was like, well, how the heck am I going to talk about that? Like, how am I supposed to help you understand that? I mean, the number one thing that really leaps to mind would be saving face. Like, one, based on your discussions, and you need a little experience with relationships here because they really are different. Like, oh gosh, it's a really high percentage of foreign guys just jump right into the first girl, that young lady that bats an eye at them and gives them the time of day, and it's not man, it's not your benefit. It's to the lady's benefit to push it, and to they're under a lot of pressure to get a guy interested in them right away because the competition is just so fierce. It's not that they're bad. It's nothing about them at all. The competition's super fierce, and so just as you're meeting women face, which tends to be excruciatingly short here in Thailand, because they'll want to lock you up and make you like their girlfriend and you're the boyfriend right away, like by the first date, okay? And then they know that even after that you can be stolen, so they tend to be just all over you. I know this sounds awful, right? And when you think of dating in Thailand versus the U.S., it's just kind of opposite. And I think women have a higher emotional intelligence than guys, or like the Thais versus Westerners. Us Western guys are screwed at every comparison. We just tend not to pay attention to things. And whether it's a combination of us just not paying attention to the things all around us, because we tend to laser focus on things, that's why we tend to be so successful. And I think the women generally have a higher emotional intelligence. I know women mature emotionally to an adult mental state around 13 and a half, where guys tend not to until they're 16 or maybe 17. And I've known plenty that never grew up, right? We all know those guys. So with all that, back in the States, it's just it's not a real easy dating environment. I feel it's very competitive for the guys. A lot of ladies not very nice, getting an awful lot of attention from a lot of desperate guys. That's just what I felt that I saw, okay? Now, if you calm down and get some personality about you and clean yourself up a little bit, you can do real well. But, that's a whole other conversation, and this isn't the Dating in America channel, this is Dating in Thailand. But in Thailand, you'll find it's kind of the opposite. You're going to find it's going to be literally too easy. Literally too easy, and you're just going to find these gorgeous women throwing themselves at you, and you're just going to go, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky, I'm done. Maybe this is best illustrated with a story at this point. I haven't told a story in a while. True story. All my stories are true, unless I say it's an example, in which case it probably is true. I just don't want anybody to know who it was. They're all true. Fawn sometimes calls me Lung. Lung is uncle. And Lung Jip Lung. My back, uncle's back hurts. I'm just gonna set my little camp stool here. Oh, that feels better. Camp stool allows me to arch my back really well, and I'm still kind of emotionally recovering from the seeing that X-ray of my spine. That's just truly horrifying. I'm not kidding. That's scary. A story. So on us going too fast and what's legit or not. So that's someone I'll call a friend. Nice guy, very nice guy, very nice, honest guy. Just about my age, maybe a couple of years younger than me. I want to say late 50s. Just got his pension all sorted, all happy, and this has kind of got a twist to it. And he meets this lady online on I want to say it was Thai Friendly. If it wasn't Thai Friendly, it was one of the Thai Lovely or something like that. I tend to pick on Thai Friendly a bit, just like Pattaya. It's the poster boy for this stuff that really is not in your best interests, okay? She's actually 40 years old, which is not an unreasonable age. That's 3 years older than Fawn, I think, when I first met her. She's really pretty though. She's pretty, like modern, like what I'll call like most bar girls actually aren't that pretty. If you look, they're a little chubby. They got these kind of ugly tattoos, kind of disorganized along their body. It's just not my type, I guess. It's just not my type. But they got that kind of hard, kind of bar kind of look versus a wholesome kind of. I like the wholesome village girl, whatever. But anyways. But she's quite pretty. She's quite pretty. I mean, she's pretty enough. She probably could have modeled. Not in Thailand because it's super competitive here for women's looks. But anywhere else in the world, she'd be a model. But not in Thailand. In Thailand, she's like an 8. I would say I haven't shown any photos of Fawn really all cleaned up and with her makeup on and in nice clothes and stuff. She's quite striking. She's probably quite a bit prettier than you realize. This lady looked, kind of, if you're going to be kind of cold about it, and I would say not nearly as pretty as Fawn overall, but that's my personal bias. But pulling that out, she's a pretty young lady. And this guy was in rough shape. He was out of shape, and he had not taken care of himself. He worked a hard physical job his whole life, had big rough hands, and he was not looking good. Okay, and he had kind of a small pension, kind of a modest, pretty modest pension. Kind of on the smaller side. I mean, I want to say it was 40,000 baht a month. I guess that's on the smaller side. I'd say 50. I'd say 50 is more. 40 to 60 is average. He's on the, you get the idea. So it's a bit of a modest pension, and a couple bucks saved, but not a lot. He laid this all out for me, and I didn't ask. He just laid it all out, and okay, so I get that. Anyways, but he met her online, and I was suspicious right away. Looking, you do a little double take. I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, this is the Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. It just this. She looked a bit above his pay grade. Kind of obviously, glaringly above his pay grade. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk here, but it's just the first thing that crossed my caveman brain, okay? Not that, believe me, looks aren't everything. They're really not. And as you get older, and hopefully as we get smarter, we focus more on kindness. And what I really love about Fawn, while we're on that subject, is her family. It's her family. She's got a very grounded, very good family. It keeps Fawn grounded. They really do a great job with it, and they're very respectful to me. And that respect has grown organically over months versus just a scammer family, which sadly I've experienced, where the whole family's in on the scam, and that's gross. But anyway, this guy here had a similar experience. Let's get back to this guy. So right away, this lady's got an uncle. We're on uncles today, Lung, needs him to build a house on her land. And let's back up to how we met her. So he meets her on, it's either Thai Friendly or something like that. And I'm looking at her and I'm looking at him, and we're sitting at a restaurant one day, and And I go, let me see the, you know, see me see the profile. Let me see if you still have it. Can I just be curious? And I did. I was never thinking of making this video. I was just wanted to see her profile. And he shows me her profile still up, which, right, red flag maybe, right? And all the shots are like sexy hot shots. Like, really? Who? Gee. What was she looking for when she put, I mean, if you looked at Fawn's profile, and I honestly, I wish I still had it, I'd maybe, to give her some privacy, maybe obfuscate a couple things, but it was all decent stuff. It was all stuff I could show on the channel easily. It was just her with her friends, little snapshots, her wearing one of those big orange life preservers, going on some river boat ride with her friends, and they're all smiling and making the peace sign, and it was all stuff like that. And this girl's stuff is all her in a tiny string bikini, posed, laying herself out, spread out this way, that way, the other way. I mean, really? I mean, I felt I was a little uncomfortable looking at the pictures, to be honest. I was like, oh, that's cool. Here's your phone back. Yeah, okay. So, come on. At this point, I'm thinking, I would say it's around this point I begin to think that this poor guy was not really. He didn't have any experience dating in Thailand. This was his first time here ever. He had no familiarity with any of it, and he was about to get hosed, which is exactly what happened. I've lost touch with him. It just began to be kind of, for me, I didn't really reach back out much after this because it just was kind of a downer. It kind of made me feel bad, you know. I don't want to watch the car wreck or whatever, the train wreck or whatever. It's not like, I'm not the kind of person that I'm really going to enjoy, watching someone else's misery. I gave him a couple of hints, and I as much as I could, and he probably thought I was just egotistically promoting my channel, like I care. But I really encourage him to watch the videos a little bit, I have no idea if he did or what impact that might have had, but so there's this smoking hot, sexy, kind of hard, kind of New York disco looking Thai lady that he meets online, and then right away he's under an enormous amount of pressure to build a house on her land. It's like, and that's the one good thing about Thailand is the scams here are super obvious and easy. And once I think you go to my scamming playlist or find another channel that's real. If I knew of one, I would tell you. I can tell you Vagabond Awake, I think is real, but that isn't on socializing in Thailand. That's on traveling the world. But I would recommend his channel, And if you want to tour Thailand, I would recommend On the Go with Devo. He's my best friend here in Thailand, but he's as honest and as JD as the day is long. I mean, he's a really, really good, honest person. He's got no agenda. He just, to the best of his ability, on his own kind of unique Devo style, explains these various touring places he goes to, and he comes up with some rather insightful thoughts on these different locations. He's found a couple locations that I'd never heard of that are pretty cool places to potentially settle down. That Cha Am, which is, I get this backwards sometimes. I think that's the one that's just west of Hua Hin along the Gulf there. It's like a cheaper, quieter, more villagey Hua Hin. I'd be interested in that. I definitely want to go there and check it. A few years down the road, I wouldn't mind maybe somewhere a little different for me and Fawn to go spend some time, And then there's another one just west of Chiang Rai. I forget the name of the darn place. I'm always forgetting it. But you can look at a map and look at some cities there, and you can see it. And it's outside the bowl. It's the air quality is not a problem, I believe. It's much cheaper. It's a little less expat-y, a little less touristy, however you want to say it. A little quieter. Again, yeah, Devo and I both kind of like that kind of quiet thing. And I'm assuming he likes the conservative Thai lady thing because his wife Noi is best friends with Fawn, and they're both that kind of quiet conservative. Both our ladies are quite attractive, and you'll never see Fawn out and dressed in something super sexy unless it's far away from her home village where her parents will never see her, and she is literally with me and hanging tight on my arm. But that'd be a rare case. It'd be a couple times a year. So back to this poor guy. So yeah, it all kind of blew up on him, as you could see. He got all raveled up in the legalities of the house and everything. And I don't know really what happened. I've just not stayed in touch, kind of on purpose, to be honest with you. I'm not here to try and tackle every potential confrontation that I can find. Okay, I did make an honest attempt to help, and that was that. And so that was, I would say, not a genuine relationship. And there was a whole bunch of other red flags on that. That was, as he was talking, he was all excited. He was laying out his how he was excited about this Thai lady he met. It was just red flag, red flag, red flag. It was. She was clearly a prostitute. Okay. I'm just sorry to say. And so now, how was she? But let's look at that. So I said saving face. Let me just wrap it up with. So how was she saving face, right? Well, she was saving face all day long. I mean, here's a smoking hot lady with this guy who was in really rough shape. Okay, uh, and she's all over him in public, like bar girl, all over him in public, like you ever seen, you go to a bar, an expat bar, where they have actual real bar girls, and they'll be kind of like on a guy, like pawing at him and like all that kind of. I find that kind of gross. That's just, not to sound like a prude, but to me, that's just not my deal. She was doing like that in public. Like, in my opinion, a real traditional good Isan lady will absolutely not do that. And even if she's really into a guy, she still wouldn't do that. This lady was saving face because the only way she could. So I know what she was doing, because there was only one way to save face, and they will be saving face. If they're breathing, they're saving face. I'm telling you, it's 100%. There's very few things in life are always in 100%, but this one is. She was saving face because she could tell all her friends and people she knows in her family, I'm just scamming this moron. I'm just scamming this guy, this dumb foreigner. I'm just going to scam him, get all the money out of him I can, and and by things that they were saying, her family was in on it. In this particular case, this was kind of an uglier case than normal. Her family was in on it, so the uncle was absolutely in on the scam. My opinion. It's my opinion, and I'm confident I'm right on that. I've lived through one of those scams, and you can see it. If you're wondering what's legit or not, and that's a very sad story. And he was a nice guy. He was a nice guy. He was just really like an innocent babe in the woods, all big-eyed and all, couldn't believe these beautiful women were interested in him, and this one in particular. But he was a very nice guy, and hopefully he kind of woke up and before he actually, spent. He was planning on spending like the bulk of his entire savings of his pension on a house on her land. I hope he kind of woke up before that. And I did drop more than one hint. So and I talked to a friend of mine here about that, by the way. I said, well, what would you do? Because we were actually at a place together, and he knew this one lady, and he knew her personally, that she was a scammer, and she had, I want to say, he told me 4 or 5 foreign guys on the hook. They were all she was doing the Thai wife scam with them, where you pay her 10,000 baht a month. She's loyal. She loyally waits for you while you're in your home country. 10 months out of the year, wrapping up your pension. The last couple of years you work, you're taking your accumulated time off and whatnot. Very common, and the Thai women know this, and this certain woman certainly knew this. And she brought this guy by our table, and and my friend later goes, oh yeah, that's so and so, that's her name, I know her, and that's like her brand new falang she's got on the scam. He's number 4 or 5, and he goes, yeah, I've met her Thai husband too. She goes, the Thai husband just moves out for a month or so when they're in the country, and he just moves right back in as soon as they go home. She drops him off at the airport, and he's basically back at the house already waiting for her when. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I mean, I didn't really, so overt I hadn't heard before, and I was just like, I felt like I needed to go throw up. You know what I mean? It was just awful. And but then he goes, what was the point of that? So so far I haven't gotten to my point. I just had to go and shower and get my green tea that Fawn got for me last night. It's filled with barley and nutritional kind of stuff. Hopefully, it's not sweet at all, which is lovely. Curing my sugar addiction here, which is also awesome. Anyway, so I will attempt to get to the point. I'm going to do round 2 of this effort or whatever. There's another word for that. Tranche 2. At the school. I'm taking Fawn to her main school today. She's got training all day, so I'm going to drop her off, hang out for 40 minutes like my usual, and then I'll probably come back here and stretch my back and stuff. Tomorrow I've got Muay Thai, so Muay Thai light practice like baby stuff, but the hip movements seem to help. Anyways, that's it. Bye. Thank you for supporting my YouTube channel.